Counts down. Such a cute little thing. Okay, I think, see, this is confusing. It says you're live. So we're live, everybody. Hi. Welcome to Why Am I Yelling Live? We are here today with the fabulous Allison Hardy, who I'm gonna fangirl right now because I've been following Allison for several months, watching her cool videos and getting her updates. We're in a bunch of mom groups together, and I love her energy. I love her vibe. I love her mission. I love you. I just love you. So I could not wait. I mean, you've been booked on this for a long time. So
a while.
So I couldn't wait to actually get here and have you on here so we could chat. Let me introduce myself for those of you who don't know me. I am Krista Rizzo. I am a parenting and relationship coach. I help parents navigate the exciting path of raising children by addressing the fear, embracing the milestones, and encouraging a creative and positive family dynamic. And with that comes relationship stuff and all the stuff that happens in between, right? So several months ago, I decided I wanted to do a little video show, and it's been on several different platforms, and hopefully we found our home here on Facebook. Spotlighting other moms and dads that are following their passions and doing really great things out there in the world. And they're also doing it while doing the hardest job on the planet of being a parent. And so every week we highlight a new person. And this week it's Allison Hardy. And Allison is a business coach for mompreneurs. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's a mom entrepreneur. So she helps mompreneurs raise their businesses while raising their babies. She's obsessed with helping other moms design a business that works for them, their community, and their lifestyle. So I would like to say welcome. Thank you for being here, Allison. We're so excited to have you. So tell us more about how your journey started to having your own business and where you are now in it.
Sure. So my journey kind of long and twisted, as I'm sure most people's is. So I had a side hustle, for a couple of years. I went to college to teach college level art, and I did that for 10 years. And that was that was what I was going to do for the rest of my life. And I got married, got pregnant. And at 6 months pregnant, I got laid off. And
me too.
Yeah, right. It's terrible. So that job, when I got laid off, I realized how much of myself was kind of defined by that job. So not only did I lose my job, I lost a huge part of who I was. And that was kind of a wake-up call for me. So I had this side hustle fitness business that I had. It was just kind of like something I did on the side for fun, extra like $200 a month so I could go buy a pair of shoes if I wanted to. Right. And I was like, all right, this is my chance. Like, I've always kind of wanted to do this full time. So like, here we go. Here it is. So right. From the time I got laid off at 6 months pregnant until the birth of my son, I brought that business from part-time status to full-time status. And I replaced my 9-to-5 income with that job or with that.
Amazing.
Business. Yeah, thank you. And it wasn't done in a healthy way at all. I worked 15-hour days and 7 days a week, and I didn't sleep, and yeah, it was crazy. But in the end I'm still like really proud of that. Like, that's something I really pride myself on. So after my son was born, I continued to work at that pace. I continued to work those 15-hour weeks, and I continued to hustle nonstop, and I never took breaks.
Right.
And this time last year, I was completely burnt out. I was able to sustain that for 2 years somehow. I have no idea how I did that.
Because you're exhausted and you're a mother and you're like, you're going on adrenaline the whole time.
You're not sleeping. Yeah, it was terrible. And I need sleep. I'm the type of person that needs a lot of sleep. So this time last year, my business was like stalled. It was dead in the water. I wasn't able to pay my bills. I wasn't getting any clients. And like, I realized that it was me. Like, I was doing something wrong. Like, I was doing something in my business that was not working anymore. And it occurred to me it was my business model. So that's when I transitioned my business from fitness to business coaching, because what I really loved about my business was what really like got me excited was talking with other mompreneurs about business, because a lot of my clients were mompreneurs. Like, a lot of mompreneurs need someone to help them with their fitness.
Sure.
So as much as I loved the fitness part of it, I really loved the business part of it too. So that's when I transitioned my business to business coaching. And one of the things that I really concentrate on with my clients is self-care, because
Love it. I love it.
I didn't have self-care for a very long time. And I realized how much of a disadvantage I did to myself and to my family and to my community and to my clients during that time. So, in addition to business coaching, my clients and I always talk about self-care, because like if you're not the best you can be and you have this business that could do amazing things for you, it's never going to do amazing things for you because you are showing up to the plate feeling empty. So kind of a shortened version of my long, crazy story.
I love it because, so let's talk about that, because I am a huge proponent of self-care. I have a coaching program that I've built around it over the summer because I was like, you know what? Parenting is important, but taking care of yourself is just as important. And so I do all of my coaching programs start with, you know, having a good relationship with yourself. Like it is like the key to the kingdom, if you ask me. And I am just, you know, I can't preach about it enough. I talk about it on my lives all the time. I talk about what do you guys do. I literally was in the salon the other day getting my hair dyed, and I was doing a Facebook Live, and I'm like, look, you guys, it's 3:30 in the afternoon, but I took 2 hours out of my day to do this because I have to, and I needed that downtime. And, you know, you see so many other people out there, like you said, like hustling and working the 18-hour days and doing the 20-hour days and exhausting themselves and burning themselves out. And I was thinking about it the other night, and I was like, you know what? First of all, a lot of them are men. So that's a whole different animal. And it's not to diss any of you guys out there, but your jobs are very different than our jobs. Even though we are both contributing to our families, you know, 90% of the parenting or the running around with the kids falls on the mom's shoulders. It just does. And that's just a thing. And the other ones are not parents. They're like super young and super engaged, and it's all they have. They're like going to make their businesses and they're going to make their mark on the world, but they don't have the other job. Right? So what do you tell your clients? Like, what is your most important self-care tip, or like, what do you do for self-care for yourself?
What do I do for self-care?
Yeah.
So I have kind of two ideas and ways of thinking about self-care. So number one is self-care rituals. I always get them mixed up. Self-care rituals. Right. And those are like simple little things you can do throughout the day. So like making yourself a cup of tea and drinking it. And like while it's still warm, drinking it. Or like getting a really good smelling like body wash and using it, or like putting on makeup, like doing little things throughout the day that make you feel good and kind of reconnect you to yourself. Because I think a lot of women, they get lost in motherhood for sure. So that's kind of one way I think about self-care. And the second way I think about self-care is self-care habits. So these are things that take longer time. So like working out, getting a 30-minute workout in your living room, or getting your hair done, like you said, or reading a book because you want to read the book. So those are kind of the two ways I think about self-care. Being a personal trainer, I'm a big fan of working out. So that's one of the ways I vent and get rid of stress is through working out. And an example for you is last year, right around Christmas time, I ended up getting pneumonia, and I had a cracked rib from coughing. 2 cracked ribs actually from coughing, which was terrible.
Ow, that's hard to do.
It was terrible. And I couldn't work out for like 3 months. And that was the time also I was super burnt out. So like coupling the lack of working out with the burnt out, it just was a recipe for disaster. And my husband actually calls that the dark ages, because it was like such
awful.
A terrible time for our family. Yeah, and it was all because of me. Like, it wasn't because of anything else. It was because of me. So there's that. And then, like, self-care rituals that I do. I love tea. Like, I have a cup of tea every afternoon after I put my son down. Yeah, and I spend a little bit of extra money on a fancy tea at Tivana, and it lasts me for, like, 4 months, and that's fine. And that, like, works for me. So I think for a lot of women, they need to just find something that works for them. Like I
Yeah.
can't tell you what to do. You
Right.
can't tell
Right.
me what to do. You have to figure it out on your own, and you kind of have to like date yourself. Like you have to like
You do.
test it out and get to know yourself a little bit better sometimes,
You do.
because that makes a difference. It's what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think it's so funny that we have such a similar story, but
Mhm.
I feel like, at the beginning of last year, like right around this time last year, or maybe a little bit like springtime, I guess, I was the same way. It was like I had just spent the last several months, I just started coaching, and all I was
Mhm.
doing was like spinning my wheels trying to figure this out. And it was before I found the whole online scene, which has now like changed everything. But I was exhausted and everybody was miserable. I was miserable. It was like I just couldn't figure out what, and I am all about the manis and the petties and all that stuff. Like I've always been faithful to doing that stuff. But I spoke to a coach, and she was like, "What are you doing for yourself? Like, what are you really doing for yourself
Mhm.
in order to take a minute and just relax during the day and spend some time on you?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know. Like, what am I doing? I'm building a business." And she's like, that's not the right answer. The right
Right.
answer is like, do you go to the gym? And I'm like, I do, but I'm not, like at the time I wasn't very consistent with it. She was like, you might like, let's get consistent with that. If it's something that you enjoy doing, then get consistent with that. Or, over the summer we have a lake house. So I like to get out on the lake and like get on my paddleboard and go and paddle and paddle and paddle and paddle. And then I'll spend 20 minutes like sitting on the board or laying on the board and like staring at the sky and like just not talking to anybody. It's the best 20 minutes of my day.
Sitting in silence.
Because there's nobody there. It's like, and she said to me, she was like, if you have that ability to do it, then you should do it. Because when you're in it's quiet. There's nobody around. There's no kid around. Like you're on your own paddleboard. Who's hanging off you? Nobody. It's just you. And it really changed a lot for me because it's like I just had even 10 minutes to like not even get into my own head, to get out of my own head and just think about it and think about like my rituals, like my daily affirmations, or think about what I want to do for the next day. Like even like easy stuff. It doesn't have to be complicated. And I feel like a lot of women overthink things. I'm a big overthinker. So we tend to overthink that we have to put more effort into it than we really do.
Yeah, I totally agree. And fitness is a really good example of this. I will have clients come to me, never set foot in the gym before, and all of a sudden they want to start working out 6 days a week. Like,
right.
That's not going to work. Like, that's not going to be a sustainable change. Like, yes, maybe we can work up to that, but it's important to understand with self-care that it's a process. Like, it takes time and patience and testing. And
right.
You're right. Like, it doesn't have to be anything complicated, but it has to work for you. That's the thing. It has to work for you.
Right. Right. I'm chatting to our guests, letting them know. I'm like, wait, I'm chatting to you. I don't want to chat to you. I want to chat to our people out there. That's the other chat box.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. If you guys have any questions, let them come on in. Yeah, I agree with you. Like, there are so many people that try to do something full steam ahead without like easing into it, that it really, it kind of confuses people, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, and it's detrimental because you fail. Yeah. So like you're setting yourself up to fail. So then you try to do it again, and it like you have that like past history in your mind. You're like, well, I'm probably going to fail at this again, but let's try it again, and then you fail again, and you're like setting yourself up to do that, and it's a vicious cycle. So yeah, you need to figure out what works for you. That's like at the.
So in your business, so now I want to know how you've modeled your bit, like you're doing really well, and I love it. And how do you balance that with your parenting and being a mom? And how old is your little one?
3.
3. Yay, for 3. They're hard, those 3s.
Oh my gosh. I thought the 2s weren't, like everyone says the 2s are terrible.
Nope.
Like they had their moments for sure, but geez, like 3 is like a whole another level. I had a friend the other day, she explained it perfectly. She was like, it's like the twos, but with experience. Like they are just wild maniacs all the time. And he never stops talking. Like he just talks and talks and talks and talks. And I'm like,
I have the same child, except he's going to be 5 soon. Like the other day we were driving up to Connecticut. It's a 2-hour drive. And we usually leave early on Saturday mornings because my husband works late into the evening. So we can't leave on Friday nights. So we leave early Saturday mornings. And my little guy, like my big one is asleep. My husband's trying to sleep. I'm driving because I'm the morning person. And Elias is just singing. And he's not even talking to anybody. He's singing. He's talking to himself. He's got his own little toys in the back. And my husband looked at me and he's like, oh my God, is this going to be? I'm like, it's going to be for 2 hours. It will be until we pull into our driveway. So don't you need to get some headphones and block it out because he does not stop talking. He's like, that is the craziest thing ever. He's crazy.
Yeah. And my little guy had a speech delay. He didn't start talking until maybe a year and a half, actually real words. And we always say now he's making up for lost time because he never stops.
You're like, oh my God. I know.
My husband and I aren't super chatty people. So there's a lot of silence in our house if Camden's not there, and then he's there and we're like, oh my gosh.
Where did this come from? Where did this chatty child come from? They're funny, right? So
yeah.
Now how do you manage having him and running your business? That's hard.
It is hard. I outsource him.
That's great. I outsource mine all day long.
Yep. Yeah. So last year we signed up for preschool. At 2, my husband's a pastor, so the church that he works at has a preschool. So at 2 years old, he could go to preschool. So we signed him up for 2 days a week at first. So we were just easing into it, seeing how it was going to go. And then I was like, oh wow, this is kind of
it's day 3. Let's do this full time.
Yeah. So then 3 days a week came available, and then 4 days a week became available.
That's amazing.
And and the thing is that he loves it. He comes home and tells me all about his friends and his teachers and what he did that day, and his speaking improved, and he's just doing all these things now. And I'm like, all right. So obviously he likes this, and I'm able to grow my business while there. So why not? So this year he goes 5 days a week. So he goes to school from 9:30 until 1, and my husband brings him to school, which is great. And then I pick him up at 1, and then he takes a nap from 2:30 until 4:30, 5 o'clock. So
so you still have your time.
Yeah, that's when I work, and it's kind of just a non-negotiable in our house. If Tier is home, because he works an odd schedule. If Tier is home, he knows that this is when I'm working, and don't mess with me. And Camden, if he skips a nap one day, he knows mommy's working, so we'll do something.
That's coming, by the way. The no nap is coming.
I know it happens every now and then. I'm it's gonna happen often.
Yeah.
But there's options. So the preschool we have has options to drop him off early and let him stay late. So just having that resource there is really nice to know. It's insanely cheap for what you get for it. So
that's great.
That is an option. So that's another thing that appealed to us about the preschool, in addition to it being in the church where my husband works. They have. Yeah, it's really easy. They have those resources. So I think that's also something really important to think about. What happens when this happens? So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a hard decision for a lot of moms. My kids are, my older one is he gets on the city bus by himself and goes to school. So see you later, bye. Mm-hmm. But my little guy, he just started pre-K this year, and we have a full day pre-K in our public school system here. So that's amazing. Mm-hmm. Yep. And then his daycare that he was in prior to going to pre-K, they pick up for me. So they go around the corner, they pick him up from school, and they bring him to their facility until I'm ready to come get him. So that they've been a godsend and a blessing for me. And I can't say enough about where we have him. But when you feel comfortable with the situation that you have for your kids, I feel like it helps you. I don't think about them at all during the day.
No,
and I hate to say that because it sounds like, oh my God, but I don't. I'm too busy working with my clients or writing what I need to write or doing whatever I need to do. And all of a sudden I look down and I'm like, oh, it's 3:30. One of them should be on the bus home, and the other one I have to get in 2 hours. So I think it's great. And I think having that peace of mind is especially important for moms who are out there trying to, grind and hustle and build their businesses and their brands and whatever it is that they're doing.
Right. And I think it's really important to like understand that, because like the energy where it goes. So like the energy is gone, like you don't have to spend energy on your kid. You can spend energy on your and you can do something that fills you up. Like working for me, and granted self-care is not working, but like I love to work. Like I love my business. So we all love our businesses. That's why we create. So like if you love your business and you want to do major things with it, like that energy has to go somewhere. You have to like gotta go somewhere.
Yeah, it does. And it has to go to the right place. So, you're right. So funneling it to the right place is key.
Right.
What is, as a business coach, the one thing you see moms, like what's the biggest mistake you see other mompreneurs making in their business when they start?
That's a good question.
I'm thinking about it and I'm like, I want to know that.
I would say not going for it.
Okay.
Because I think a lot of women kind of start these online businesses or start a business in general.
Yep.
Thinking, it'll be nice to like put some money away for a Disney vacation, or I can use this money to like pay down my family's debt, things like that. But they almost feel like apologetic about it because they don't view it as being like real.
Yep.
Because it has this like very functional purpose. When reality, your business could provide for your family in ways that you don't even like, that aren't even like on your radar right now. Like having your own, especially online business, you can influence so many women in so many ways. And you can also influence yourself in so many ways. So it kind of serves twofold, right? You're serving yourself and you're serving other people. And, cause I talk to a lot of women, like they're like, my business just isn't like, it's just, it pays for a couple of things, and they want more from it, but they are afraid to go for it.
Yep.
And that's what I think, that's what really kind of like gets me a little fired up sometimes, is because like, if you want something, like if you want to go for something, if you want your business to like bring your husband home, if you want to retire your husband, that's fine. Like you're perfectly capable of doing it. You just have to do it.
Right.
And making like investments and moves and just getting like completely unapologetic about it and just like going for it. Like if you want it, do it and make it happen.
I love that.
You're perfectly capable of doing it. You just have to do it.
I love that. And I remember, it's funny because when I love that you say that, because you're validating a lot of what other women want to hear. And I was in a very similar boat that you were in. The first time I was pregnant, I was laid off. The second time, it was great. And I ended up going back to that job and I took some time off and maxed out my severance package and then, whatever. But the second time when I actually decided to leave the company and figure out what I wanted to do, that was a little bit more than 2 years ago. And so it took me some time to figure out that this is where my passion lied, because I always thought I needed to be working for somebody else. Yeah. It never really dawned on me to start my own thing. And I did, I've never done like a side hustle, although I probably should, because that's a whole nother topic. So when I decided to go into coaching, it was through a career coach. She was like, you are missing your calling, sister. Like, this is what you should be doing. And here's why. And she like backed it up and all the stuff. And she was like, get certified, go coach, because this is what you should be doing. You're passionate about it. You're excited about it. This is what you want. And I remember having the conversation with my husband because I was about to get offered a really lucrative job with like a Fortune 3 company. And I was sitting, waiting for the phone call, and I had already started my coaching classes. And he like walked in and he's like, what you look like, you just look so sad right now. And I started to cry. And I said, I have just been through like 3 months of interviews with these people. I've made friends with them because that's the kind of person I am. Like now we're chit chatting, we're gonna go to drinks and like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I feel really bad because they're going, like, I know they're about to make me an offer. I know we are walking into the negotiation part of this. And I know that I don't want this job. I know I don't. And he looked at me and he was like, then don't take the job. And I said, well, but I have to work and I have to this. And he looked at me and he was like, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I want to be a coach. And he said, well, then that's what you should do.
Right.
And I said, what do you mean? He was like, everything else will fall into place. It has always fallen into place for us. Yes, there have been times where we have been, you know, eating out of the cans because it gets really thin sometimes, but it always works out. You just have to believe that it's going to work out. And I have been watching you for the last several months try to figure this out, and you can't not do this is what the words that came out of his mouth were, you can't not do this. You have to try this. And I was like, all of a sudden, like all the weight just went off my shoulders. And I was like, okay, if this guy thinks I can do it, and he's really the guy that I like, he's the only guy that matters, right? Like the little guys matter, but he's the one that, like, you know, okay, then I'm going to do it. And so that's what I did. And I'm so glad that I did. And it's been hard, and it's been the hardest thing I've ever done. And it's been frustrating and all the stuff that comes with it, but it's mine. And that's what I get to, like, it's exciting. Like I wake up in the morning and I want to go to bed with my laptop in my lap, and I want to wake up with it right next, because I wake up in the middle of the night with ideas. And that's, I want everybody else to feel that way too, about what they do, even if it is that they are in their dream job, like in corporate America or, you know, whatever.
Right.
Just love it. Just be excited about it. Don't, like, you see so many people, even the people that I used to work with, like I talk to them and they're like, oh, this is the worst place on the planet. And it's like, those are I'm like, so why are you still there? Like, look at me. Like, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Trust me. Like, you know, and I don't really know how to drive that home other than to continually talk about it and tell people that you can actually do it. And it's scary, but it's not as scary as you think it is. I don't know.
Yeah. That's for me to kind of wrap my head around, because I had another similar experience. My husband flat out told me one day, I was thinking about hiring a business coach because I was just like floundering in my business. Like nothing was working. Obviously something needed to change. So he was on a ski trip with his youth group. I called him up and I was like, it was like 10 o'clock at night. I was like, the deadline's, you know, midnight tonight. And I was like talking about it, and he just like flat out, he never like tells me what to do really, because he knows I'll do the opposite. But he like flat out was like, just do it, Allison. He's like, this is what you want to do. It's an investment. He's like, if you want to do this, then just do it. He's like, don't stop calling me.
Right. I'm on the skis. I'm on the mountain. I've got kids to watch. Right.
He's like, just stop calling me. He's like, get out the credit card and just put it on the credit card. And he was like, make sure it's the rewards credit card, but just put it on the credit card.
Just do it.
Yeah. He was like, just do it. He was like, I'm tired of listening to you talk about this. Like, you just need to do it. And I think we sometimes need the permission. Like, we need to like have someone else say, like, yeah, it's okay that you're doing this. And I just saw someone said men are so cut and dry. Yes. Men are so cut and dry. And I think sometimes we as women get really caught up in our emotions. And, you know, we're thinking about so many other things than just ourselves. Right. Our finances, all this. But like sometimes we just need to ask a man, you know, what do I need to do? Like, what needs to happen?
Right.
Because sometimes
and that's the other thing. It's like we do have other things on our minds and on our plates, and we're constantly, you know, we're 10 steps ahead of everybody. Right. And whenever I make a big decision or I want to do something major, it's like, okay, I'm not asking for permission, but I want to know that you're on my side. Right. Because I'm going to do it anyway. Like when my mind is made up, it's made up. So it's like, okay, I'm going to go do this, but I should probably say, maybe this is like, look, can we talk about it? Or I want your opinion, or any of that kind of stuff. Because we do tend to feel like, oh no, if I spend this money on this, what am I not going to have or who's going to, be without, and God, like, please, like, let's talk about being without. Like, nobody is without anything. Like, we could all do a lot of purging and still not be without. So I had to like remind myself of that all the time. It's like, okay, everybody calm down. It's not the end of the world. Right.
And like, if you're continually coming from that place of fear, that place of scarcity, like it is never going to work for you. You need to be, when you're thinking of spending like money, for example, like you have to know that stuff is going to come in because you're investing in yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, coming from that place of like, oh, I'm afraid to spend money because of this and this and this, and I'm afraid we're not going to be able to do this. That's not like, it's not true. Like, you're investing in yourself, so you're going to see the rewards. You just have to make that initial choice.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes, listen, we've all been there. Sometimes it doesn't work out, and most of the time it does. If you're like, if you're coming from a heart-centered place and you're making all the right decisions and you're doing it with the right research, then I feel like, you know what? Just do it.
Right.
You only live once. You get one go around, everybody. You only live once. You're not doing this again. So make it your own. Mm-hmm. That's my message.
I love that.
So tell us, my darling, what do you have for us today? Because Jackie's going to put it in the comments, I think.
Right. So it's the Ultimate Mompreneur Checklist. So what these are tasks that you need to be doing every single day. And these are tasks that are designed to produce you revenue. So they're not like designing a pretty Instagram post. Like that's not it. It's things like developing
money.
Right. Things like developing relationships and making sure that like you are continually focusing on you and your business and what moves the both of you forward.
Yep. I love it. Thank you for giving that to us. We certainly appreciate that. I'm sure that it's going to be used tremendously from this group. So you guys, if you want to get in touch with Allison, she is Allison Hardy, and she can be found on Instagram. She can be found on Facebook, and I'm sure all the other places that you can find people on social media these days. Yes. So I thank you so much for being here. This has been a great chat. I've really enjoyed this. I got a lot out of this. So thank you for all of your tips and your stories and all the stuff. And thank you guys for watching. I'm going to take us off the air, but we will still stay on. So it'll give us a couple more minutes. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you back here next week. I believe we have Trish Ribeiro on next week, and she is super fun and super awesome. And she is also here in New York near me. So that'll be a fun conversation. So we'll see you back here next Thursday, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.